What's up, y'all? I'm Niles Abston, and my memories are low-key triggering. A nigga was homeless, but we made it through. It's all good.
I'm just asking. You want me to intro?
Oh,
we're going to keep this in.
Look at this chemistry.
Welcome back to another episode of Callbacks. Callbacks, as Sam likes to call it when we're doing our pre-meeting.
That is never said that. We don't even have pre-meetings. We're just off the cuff hilarious like that.
Yeah.
The podcast where we bring in our most interesting, favorite Hollywood entertainers and feed them some significant dates.
Memories.
It's always good walking back memory lane.
Is that it? Did I make that up? Memory? Is that a song? Black people, I feel like we make little songs. All right, when you're a kid or as an adult, even an adult, do you like make up lyrics for songs?
Oh, 100%. Somehow this is what's the phrase you use in an episode? You have to have like you got to be a little bit of crazy to think you're gonna make it.
What is it? Healthy delusion.
You got to have a healthy delusion.
Yeah.
That's when I knew I had that, because sometimes when I was younger, I'd turn the radio off and just make up my own songs. I'm like, my stuff's better.
Yeah.
I freestyle. I sing songs. I'm in the.
I put extra cuss words in mine.
You be feeling aggressive?
Yeah, I'm trying not to cuss.
Extra happy.
Yeah,
like
I don't want to cuss this early in the podcast. I want us to become rich and famous. Insert ad here. Sponsored by, I don't know, BetterHelp, whatever.
Nike.
Yeah, you read. I went to like very direct consumer, and you went to the 8th largest company in the world.
Yeah.
Man, well,
you gotta just do it.
Today's episode is going to be great. I'm excited about it.
I'm very excited. We got
one of Hollywood's
true. A lot of people trying to say they're self-made.
Yeah.
Sure, anybody can say like any little thing is privilege, but this dude, self-made. Going from sleeping into cars. That also made me realize, like, would you, if you had to sleep in your car for a couple months to stay in LA doing comedy?
At that age, yes. At 30, it would be tough, dog. I'm not gonna lie. At 30, I mean, I would do it, but at the same time, I know enough people where I wouldn't have to do it.
Right.
Like, as a 30-year-old, I have enough friends here that have enough sense where I could like crash with somebody. I could just couch hop a little bit.
Right.
But if I was 22, 23, yeah, I probably would have thugged it out. I mean, I've not had homes before, so I
get the cheapest gym membership you can for the shower.
Yeah. Or just be dicking people down.
I don't know about that life, but
yeah, me either. Barely. I'm just saying, if you look, I'm trying to be politically correct here, but if you needed somewhere to live and you're like, I'm trying to follow my dreams in LA, you got to just be like, you got to just go to the club and find you a nice big woman with a lot of money.
I don't, yeah, that's a strategy. That's a strategy.
You said that earlier. Remember before we were recording, you was like, yeah, bro, honestly, if I was young.
According to Danny, I say everything before we're on the mics.
We're getting real spicy to start this episode, but we need, yeah, man, I'm excited. This conversation was cool. I feel like I could have talked to Niles forever, because Niles is one of those kind of comedians that he's creating so much that you can get a lot of like inside baseball kind of conversations about creating and producing. And I think he's like the epitome of when you are a creator in 23 and beyond, how multi-hyphenate you have to be. Like, you know, the days of like, oh, I'm gonna get on Def Jam and get a TV show named after me, you know, the Martins or the Seinfelds or whatever. It's like, those things are kind of tough or don't really exist anymore. You look at like Atlanta, like we talked about or whatever, it's like Donald Glover is probably the epitome of being a multi-hyphenate and being able to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what it takes these days. And Niles does a great job of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just, I see some delusional people, I'm just going to be a stand-up comic. It's like, well, you're going to be broke for the rest of your life, because you're not going on tour or getting passed unless you got a big old viral following or a TV credit or a writing credit that gets you there. So.
And I think the biggest thing, and we'll get into this episode, is building a community. I think that's super important as creators, as we blossom into our career, bro, is making a community. And that's if you're a comedian or you're an artist, a rapper, a fucking painter.
You're starting a coffee shop.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, don't just sell coffee, but sell a space that people can come and congregate, make it comfortable.
Yeah, human beings want to belong. Right?
Yeah.
They want to have somewhere they like belong, and if you make them feel like you're in, and that's what we'll get into with Niles, is he has a vision for that sort of thing.
I'm about to cry. So let's get into it. Episode blank of Callbacks with Sam and Danny.
We're making dreams come true. They come true.
Keep that in. This is Callbacks. I'm Danny.
I'm Sam.
Who's our guest today?
Man, we're in for a great one. Our guest today is a comedian, writer, former NCAA Division I sprinter.
Bars.
He's a writer on Little Dicky's Dave on FX.
Bars.
Has been featured on Comedy Central.
Bars.
In 2022, named one of Vulture's comedians you should know.
You should know already.
You can check out his latest hour special, Household Name, on YouTube. It is our honor to introduce Rankin County's favorite son, Niles Abston.
Oh, clap, 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 clap.
Welcome, Niles.
Yeah, I am Rankin County's favorite son. It's either me or Gardner Minshew, and he played terrible like a couple weeks ago. So
Yeah.
I think it's me right now.
Yeah, what do you got to say about that Gardner?
I love Gardner though. Him and some of my buddies played high school ball together.
I'm about to say, y'all the same age, close?
Yeah, no, I'm a couple years older than him. I remember watching dude play in 9th grade, starting varsity at like a huge public school game, like thousands of people in the stands and shit,
Nice.
throwing bombs, bro. At 15, I was like, that dude's playing in the NFL.
Right.
Like I remember people saying that shit when he's like 15. So to see him like on TV is crazy.
The best athlete I saw in high school was I saw Tim Tebow once when I was like 8th grade in
What?
Jacksonville. Yeah.
Oh shit!
And that nigga looked like Tim Tebow back then. Like
Damn.
he looked like, in high school you got some people that play O-line, but they're like 220, 230.
Yeah. He's that size.
He was
like
that
quarterback.
size. So right. So
At
he was like,
quarterback.
just
That's
mushing
amazing.
cash. Yes, dog.
Bro, it's cool being from the South and seeing those guys like
Facts.
so like Cam Akers that plays running back for the Rams.
Yeah.
I used to watch him play high school ball too.
Really?
My ex-girlfriend went to his high school.
Damn.
Yeah, he was way younger than all of us though.
Yeah.
So like I was watching him play varsity in like 8th, 9th grade. He
That's
played
funny.
quarterback because he was the most athletic kid on this
That's
team.
all- that's
Now he
all I
plays
always
running
do.
back for the LA Rams. This shit's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's
We
a
just had a
shame.
bunch of famous hockey players in Minnesota. No, none of the
Oh yeah, I
none of
forgot.
the fun.
Yeah, y'all import y'all's
thing.
black people in this.
Yeah, Masterpiece kids, the only black niggas in the. He's like randomly, his kids randomly go to high school in Minnesota.
Really?
Don't
Do they go to that Minnehaha school that's like really good at basketball?
It might be like
Yeah.
Hersey or one of the kids. They
Yeah,
all
'cause
go.
that's where Chet played, right?
That's where Chet Holmgren and Jalen Suggs played
Yeah.
together. Yeah. Minnesota actually has a good basketball scene now because like
Yeah.
Gary Trent Jr.
Mm-hmm.
and Trey and Tyus Jones were all on the same team.
Yep.
I saw them against our high school, and we had a couple D1 players, and Gary Trent Sr. is a refrigerator of a man. That dude
He's huge.
is a monster.
Yeah.
We were just actually talking about this. There was
yesterday.
one of the Lopez twins took Gary Trent Jr.'s headband,
off.
ripped it off and threw it, whatever. And Gary Trent really didn't do anything, Jr. And one reporter asked Gary Trent Sr. what he'd do, and he basically was like, man, he said I'd sock him, which is such an old head thing to say. Like, I'd sock him.
That's old.
And all these people in the comments like, that man wouldn't do nothing. I'm like, y'all don't know Gary Trent Sr.
That's a big dude, bro.
He will.
Old black strength. You lose your strength last.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A 50-year-old black man is the strongest man on the fucking earth, dog. Period. Any given 50-year-old black man is
You're strong as shit.
Love it.
big, strong wrists.
I mean, that dude's- I love that we're talking sports though, because this
Yeah.
is the first date I'd love to give you.
Yeah, first
Okay.
date. Give him the
Okay, it's a couple dates. May 11th through the 13th, 2013.
Man,
Do you have any idea what was going on then?
was that my senior year of high school?
Senior year of high school, all state school record,
Yeah.
10.67 seconds in the 100-meter dash.
Whew, man, those were the days, bro. It hurts to walk now. Dog, I was a fast little motherfucker in high school, bro. Shit was crazy. Yeah, I set the school record my senior year of high school. That record still stands at my school.
You gonna be
100-meter
salty if
dash.
someone breaks it?
Nah.
It's been a minute now.
It's been a
10
minute.
years?
This would be my 10-year high school reunion, and I still have a record at my school. Like that's crazy.
Decade.
Yeah.
It's a decade. Honestly, that's bad on the school if it's still.
10-6 is fast, though. That's pretty.
Yeah, I
I
ran
have 11 in high school is wild.
Yeah, I went 10-6 in the 100, and I ran a 4.3 in the 40.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Did
that
you play
was
football?
yeah, I did.
3
I-
years.
I was okay.
Oh, see, look, he.
3 years of high school football.
We were terrible my senior
Nice.
year. I think we won one game my senior year in high school.
Was it a big school or small school?
Small, very small.
It was a very black.
No,
Okay.
Hartfield Academy.
yes,
So thank you.
it changed my senior year. We were called University Christian my whole entire school career, and then it changed to Hartfield Academy my senior year because they basically combined with this mega church because they needed money and shit. And so they changed everything. And like we had to play in like this different conference, and all the schools were just bigger than us, and they would just beat the shit out of us, bro. It was not fun.
Yeah, and down south, I mean, I guess anywhere, but down south, it gets hectic fast. Like I'm from Cincinnati, but I lived in Jacksonville.
Okay.
And I remember like even like the varsity through JV and freshman teams, like certain schools had both and certain schools only had JV.
Right.
So sometimes it'd be mostly freshmen on the JV.
Right.
So you playing other teams JV, but they got a little bit of juniors, sophomores, and then like a couple of nice freshmen. So you'll go there and get blown out by grown ass men.
Right.
You know,
I'm 14.
Right. They're licensed. You know, these kids driving home after the game.
Right. My mom picked me up from this shit. Nigga, you shouldn't be tackling me if my mom picking me up.
Right.
But yeah, my senior, I had a really rough senior year, man. I always say, I'm actually glad I had such a rough senior year. That's the one year I can say I really did have a drinking problem.
Wow.
I'm good now.
So did you...
My 18-year-old Niles had a drink. I ran that 10-6-7 with a hangover.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it like a party school? Was it kind of like...
so I went to a small school. So there was like a few kids. There's like a small collective of kids from my school that would go party with kids from bigger schools.
Okay.
So like it was so much to the point, the bigger school called Northwest Rankin down the highway, there was kids at that school that thought I went there because I was just hanging out and partying with them. I had more friends there than I did at my school.
Right.
But yeah, we were just partying all the time. But yeah, I set that record at Jackson Academy, which is a really, really nice private school. They have this really nice track. And I think it's the fastest, at that time, it was the fastest 100-meter dash on their track too.
Wow.
But I don't think it is anymore. I think one kid ran faster over the last few years. But yeah, it was at Jackson Academy. But I remember I was getting drunk and getting fucked up the night before. And I was kind of like drunk the next morning, and I ran a 10-6 that day. So that was fun. But yeah.
That's a young man's game, though. You couldn't wake up hangover and just go to a track meet.
Nope.
Like
could not do that these days.
Track is the best because you leave like at second, third period.
Bro, oh my God, it was the best.
Yes.
That was the best when you would just like, you come to school in your sweats, the other normies at the school just looking at you pissed off, and then like you leave for the day.
Right.
And we could, like in high school, we all drove to the other track. We would just drive to the track meets or ride together.
Oh, really?
So like we didn't ride because I remember being in junior high, we would ride the bus, but like 10th grade, I was, whipping to the track meets. So that was fun. So you drive into the other schools, and I love track because it's like a hangout all day.
Yeah.
And then if you're good, all the other schools know about you and come hang out and shit. And so like you just meet all the girls from the different schools.
Right.
That shit was high school track was fun, man.
As soon as your event's over, you're just eating crazy snacks.
Chilling.
As long as you don't do the 4x4 at the very end. The 4x4 at the end.
Don't be a somewhat athletic nigga. Like, we need somebody, the 4x4. Hey, Daddy, come here.
Exactly. Dog, I got to my sophomore and junior year, I didn't have to do the 4x4, but my senior year I had to.
4x4. It'd be dark. It's cold.
Right? It's at the end of the day, everybody packing the tent up, ready to go home.
Right.
You got to go back out there and stretch and warm up.
It's cold. 4x4.
You bring it back. You bring it back memories.
And don't be not great. Don't be losing the damn league. Come on.
That's the other thing. I'd be like, look, if we gonna do this shit, we about to win, nigga, because I could have gone home.
On a Wednesday night.
On a Wednesday night, bro. It'd be in the middle of the week.
Funny.
Goodness gracious.
So that meet, kind of end of senior year.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of killing it in high school.
Yeah.
Senior class president, student body president.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I had my own parking spot. Yeah.
Dang,
that's the only reason I did it. I wanted a parking spot.
You just wanted to park up close.
Yeah.
Damn.
Kind of flex.
It was great. I had my name on it and everything.
You were picking up girls just to show off the parking spot.
Yeah, we would if I would hang out with somebody on the weekend, I'm like, hey, you want to come check out my parking spot? We go check out the parking spot and shit. It was dope.
That's funny as hell.
That's super funny. Kind of corny, to be honest, a little bit.
Shift manager, yeah.
Employee of the month. So you're killing it in track. You get a track scholarship to Oral Roberts, or
I did not. So I got offered by a few JUCOs and D2 schools, but I really wanted to run Division I, and so I got an academic scholarship at Oral Roberts, and they basically told me that I could be on the team and they could give me some extra money or whatever. So I didn't get a full track scholarship. So,
Okay.
but I really wanted to run Division I, so I went there.
Pretty tough, right?
That's
to
where,
get,
yeah.
To get D1
Yeah, it is.
track. My little brother
They flying kids in from Africa.
Right.
Like,
Facts.
no, I learned very early. I was all right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Same.
Big fish, small pond, and then you get out there. And so, but the plan is you go, so obviously pretty good academic. You were an NHS in high school, you're student body president, you get a academic scholarship to Oral Roberts, and you major social work. The plan is become a counselor, coach. Like obviously now you're pretty established in the comedy scene, your star's rising, but back then it was just social work and coaching was the plan.
Yeah.
What drew you to that? And what
I've always just wanted to work with kids, and I've always loved sports, and so really to be a coach, all you need is a degree anyway.
Right.
But then I kind of wanted to do something different, like community based, to like help on community, like on the community level, and kind of like organize and that kind of thing. And so I thought social work was the perfect place to kind of learn all those things, which it was. I learned so much just about how the country works and what the systems do to people and how to help people and that kind of thing. And I really did want to kind of get into counseling. I really thought family counseling might be the way for me. So yeah, it was fun. And it was also just like, it was a really, like the coursework was actually like really interesting and fun because you're just kind of learning about the world and people and how things work and stuff. So it was actually really interesting. I had like a 3.7 GPA. Damn. Yeah.
So, always my biggest, like when I think about college, because I went to like a smaller private school. Did you go to college hoping that it was going to be like a fun school? Like I'm trying to go to school that's like where the hoes are at, or it was just kind of like I just want to.
I really thought it was going to be fun, and there were some fun people there. I met some really dope people at the school, but all in all, it was pretty lame. Yeah, it was pretty whack.
You ended up leaving early, right?
Yeah, I dropped out.
Do you think if you would have went to like Mississippi State or fucking Howard or whatever, like a fun ass school,
I would have been lit. I would have finished. I would have finished just off of like, I want to get more of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, in fact, can I come back? Can I do a little more? Like, nah. It definitely helped that the school was just not fun. Yeah, when I dropped out,
because Oral Roberts is like very like religious, like speaking in tongues,
like liberty,
type,
liberty.
Right?
And,
it's pretty bad. Like
kinda.
I remember they don't do this anymore, but I remember my freshman year there was a curfew for the dorms.
That's crazy.
That's the college I went to. I went to like a small Christian school. And we had that too.
You had to be in at 1 a.m.
What the fuck?
And basically, if you didn't make curfew, then you just had to stay out till 5:30 when they opened the doors. So my thing is like, that's unsafe. First of all, you got people that's not from Tulsa, Oklahoma, just out because people don't want to like get a demerit or whatever. Yeah. So like people just like spend the night in the woods or in their car or at IHOP or some shit.
What?
Yeah, bro.
That's insane, bro.
They don't. I don't think they do it anymore. But yeah, my first year, it was curfew.
They cared too much about rules over.
The rules are crazy,
like the letter of the law.
I remember one girl got kicked out because she was pregnant. I remember they didn't get this one lady her diploma because they found out she was gay on Facebook.
I'm sorry, that's not funny, but that's funny.
Why you laugh like that?
Off of Facebook, because it not even like, like we saw you like, bro, not on the wall, on somebody's wall.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Hold on, what?
They caught her on Facebook being gay.
You're a menace.
That's a crazy way to find out. Yeah. If you find out I'm gay off my fucking Facebook, a poke on Facebook, dog, give me my damn diploma.
That was none of your business.
Right, exactly.
It's tough when
but then,
we love everyone.
But then like right. But then like a nigga on the basketball team, I remember my first year I got there, the summer before, he had gone to jail because he had choked his baby mama or something shit like that. And they was trying to find a way to get this nigga back into school and get him back on the team. And I didn't know this. So like the athletes, we got there in July to start working out. So I was there before everybody got to school. So I'm thinking like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. All the athletes is cool. It's just all the niggas. So it's all the niggas and the white boys that play baseball.
That don't know about the school really. I guess I'll go to, Robert.
Because our baseball team was fire. So all the white boys that play baseball was cool. Yeah. You got all these like Latino people and African people that play soccer. So everybody, like, I'm just like, this is cool as fuck.
Diverse.
And then like, but then all the real like kids came and they just like, oh, this is terrible. But they would take
by spring mentality.
Yeah, dude, ring by spring, bro. And so like they would take me out because I was like the youngest one. They would like I didn't have a car my first semester, my freshman year. And so like they would take me out and that basketball player would be hanging out and shit. And I didn't know what was going on. So I'm cool with this nigga and talking to him. And then like school started and somebody showed me an article. I was like, bro, I just been hanging out with this abusive ass nigga all summer.
Leroy was choked out
Bro.
3 white women at
Dog.
Checkers.
He had choked his baby mama, bro.
That's
He
crazy.
didn't get back. They couldn't get him back into the school because I think he ended up having to go to prison. Like he got charged or whatever.
But they were trying to get. They were like, oh, "Are you pregnant? You can't be here." But hey, you just some light abuse.
Yeah,
We'll
because they
get
play
you back
basketball,
in.
so they were trying to make it work.
That's crazy.
He does a great rebound. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was the ring by spring because I went to a small college that was the same sort of thing.
You played basketball in college.
Did you get
okay.
Did you get caught up in that a little bit? Like, were there some girls where you're like, or from the get-go, you're just like, this is menacing? That
Well, it's just like first time away from home, you meet like girls from everywhere. You're like, oh, this is dope. But I definitely saw some girls my freshman year like get engaged by second semester freshman year, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like they call it the MRS degree. Like there's a lot of people being like, oh yeah, I came to RU to find my husband. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
Especially down south too.
Mm-hmm.
Did you because like I played football in college, and I found myself kind of like getting there, being so engulfed in the sport that you kind of really don't get a chance to understand what you really want to do with your life for real. You know, because like I kind of realized I wasn't going to be good enough, but it was still like too late. / I didn't have time to like really dig into my studies.
My freshman year. That was literally it. I was just focused on track, and then I got all these injuries, and I was like, oh, well, fuck.
At what point? Because it seems like you were really good in school and all this kind of shit. So what point were you like, I kind of want to get into film, or I kind of want to get into entertainment?
Like towards the end of my sophomore year.
Because you interned at a production company out in LA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was 20. But yeah, that was like the end of my sophomore year. I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I was like, yo, my hip isn't healing right.
Yeah.
I can't run as fast anymore. This sucks. I hate being at this school. I remember calling my mom, just being like, Mom, I hate this shit.
Yeah.
I do not want to do this anymore. Yeah, I basically was just, I can't remember what movie I was watching, but I was just watching some movies in my dorm room one day, and I was just like, I just want to write movies. Like, I can write shit better than this.
Yeah.
And so I started kind of like Googling like screenwriting and all that kind of stuff, because being a comedian was never on the thing.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, I started kind of just Googling writing and how to make it into Hollywood and all this shit. And I met a friend at school that was doing like, she was actually majoring in film. And so I just kind of started talking to her about it, because her plan was like always move to LA and then start trying to get into production and stuff. And I just sent her like a thing I wrote, and she was like, yo, this is good. And so she told me about this like internship / film school program that was out here in LA called Best Semester. And basically it counted as coursework for whatever your degree was. So basically it was a way for you to, it's basically like you're not at the college, but you're just towards your degree.
Study abroad, kind of.
Study abroad. Basically study abroad, but you're going to Hollywood.
Right.
So I sent in what I wrote, and the program liked it, and I applied, and they picked me.
Okay.
And so they picked like 20 people. And so
it's probably it's hard to get into.
Yeah, they only picked like 20 people.
Wow. And
so I moved to LA January 2016. So this is actually 7 years for me this month.
Wow.
And so I moved to the first week of January. I was 20 years old, and I started interning at this production company. The guy that owned the company, probably the biggest thing he's produced was, he was the EP of Django and another Tarantino movie. And
Inglourious Basterds, right?
Yeah, he might have did Inglourious Basterds too, but he basically, his claim to fame is like, he basically kind of discovered Tarantino.
Okay.
So like he was one of the people to help him get money to make Reservoir Dogs.
Gotcha.
And so I interned at that company, had a horrible time. He was very mean, terrible talk.
That's LA. That's showbiz, baby.
He was terrible to the people that worked for him. He would make the assistant cry like every day. I would feel so bad because like it was like an office, and so he had his own office in the back, and then there was an office with his 2 producers that worked for him, and then I had a desk and the assistant had a desk, and she would like turn around like this, and she would just like cry in the middle of the day, and I would feel so bad like every day.
She's trying to hide it.
They were so mean to her, bro. She's a young Asian girl. It was really nice, and they would just make her cry every day. They were shitty to her.
Crazy.
And so they didn't really have enough time to be shitty to me, because I was always out like delivering something for them, or like getting coffee or getting lunch and shit. And so, but basically, the thing that was good though, all day I would just read scripts that got sent in.
Right.
So I could see what a good script was, what a bad script was, and then the scripts that like got their attention. What was it about those? One funny thing was that company was one of the first companies that got the Barry pilot sent to it. So I got to read like the first couple iterations of the Barry pilot, and I remember going like, "Yo, they emailed like, are y'all gonna do something with Bill Hader? And they were like, nah, we don't really get it. It doesn't really have a genre. And I was like, what? This shit is gonna be dope. Like y'all got to get in on this.
Now
and
it's
like,
won like a bunch of awards,
right? And they told me like I didn't know what I was talking about. And because I was 20 or whatever.
Right.
And then I was like, nope. And then when he won the award, I was so hyped. I was like, I was right.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I got to read scripts all day. And so like that kind of just gave me like more confidence and like, oh, I can do this shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And that's how you kind of got into stand-up, right? Because didn't you produce like a little short film and your friend Camille was like, this is funny, you should try stand-up.
Yeah. I wrote a short film. I forget what it was about, but I wrote like a 10-page short film. She read it and was like, yo, this is funny. Like, have you ever thought about trying stand-up? And I had never thought. I like stand-up. I love it. Like Cat Williams. I used to watch like Cat Williams and Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy and John Mulaney and all them all the time when I was younger. But I never thought it was something like I could do. Got it? Because to me, I thought like Bernie Mac, I thought he was just up there just talking.
Off the cuff?
Yeah, because I was like, oh, this is just the funniest dude in the world. He can just go up there and talk.
Creative.
Yeah, but I didn't know like, nah, nigga, you like write a set out and practice and you go places and you nail it down. And so, so I just started going to open mics and just bombing my dick off, bro.
So that's my question. So I didn't start in LA. I'm still new to comedy, but what is it like to, because I feel bad for some people that aren't good and they started in LA because I feel like they would have a better shot if they started somewhere else.
Man.
So what is it like? Because it's depressing for me and I feel confident about myself.
Yeah, you're very funny. No, it was hard, bro. I tell anybody I meet, I say, do not start out here. That shit was awful.
Yeah.
Garbage. Terrible. Like, the only reason it was okay for me is because I was just doing stand-up to help with as a writing exercise for my screenwriting.
Right.
So I never got discouraged. It was like, oh, I'm not good because I wasn't trying to be a stand-up comic. I didn't care. Like I would go do a mic, bomb, like, oh, okay. And then not come back for like 2 weeks, like, because I didn't give a fuck like that. Right. And so, but then I actually started kind of getting good. And I was like, wait, I kind of like this. And I just stuck with it. And now we're doing this bullshit. So.
Starting out in LA I started out here too. And it's like,
bro, it's horrible.
But
you can't get up that much.
It is tough stage time. On the flip side, though, because I'm from Minnesota and I just went back there. I hadn't done like comedy there.
Yeah.
I went back for some family stuff and I was like, oh, let me just stop by an open mic. And it's like 60 people in the audience excited to see.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to do in Minnesota in the wintertime.
Right.
So people are like, great. And then I see a bunch of comics who think they're like crushing, and it's like, no, you just have an eager crowd who's bored and they hear the rhythm of a joke.
And they just laugh.
So it's good that they get confidence, but there's some that like create bad habits. And then like the clubs there, they need people to host. So I know dudes who have like a decent 5 to 7 minutes and they're hosting doing 20, 25-minute sets.
Yeah, when the big comedian comes to town, they think they're good.
And they think so the one thing I appreciate about starting in LA is it can kill confidence.
But you can tell what's good and what's not very early.
Well, you just can't come with, because you don't get many opportunities, and the crowds, they get to see, they can go to the Improv, they can go to the store and see the biggest most famous. David Spade is at the Improv all the time, like John Mulaney's dropping in, like there's just big time people coming in all the time. So you can't just come in with some simple rule of 3. So the thing about starting it in LA that I appreciate is I feel like I would have had bad habits because I would have just been like, oh, I'm great at this. Where here you better come correct with like your pen game must be strong, your stage presence must be good.
The thing about Chicago was nice is that you get different kind of rooms. You get very black, the most blackest nigga rooms where niggas don't even know it's a stand-up show. And they're watching game, eating wings, old black ladies. You got like, try to make an old black lady laugh is the most scariest thing. You know what I'm saying? With her nigga that you got, all one-piece linen suit on. Like, that's hard. That's the most scariest. That's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? And then
that shit gotta be good.
Yeah, right. It better slap or else she gonna start talking in this voice to the nigga that's right next to her. Like, he is not funny. Why are we even, they gonna know it. Right.
Nah, that's real. Yeah, no, I will say, just like what he was saying is, I got to a point where I was like, okay, I don't get up that much. So when I do, I'm about to destroy this shit. Right. And so that made me so much better because I started really taking the stage time seriously. Right. That is true. And so I will say, if you are good out here, you're good. Yeah. Because like most comedians in LA, I think have a really good 5 minutes. Yeah. Like there's not too many like comedians that get booked enough out here that don't have a good 5. But when you start getting to that like 15, that's when you realize like who's actually good at this shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, but I feel like in other markets, like a lot of those people just get to do 15 like all the time. And then also it's just like, it's competitive out here, man. Like you said, like those famous people are at the Improv all the time. Like the best people are out here. So it's kind of like a gift and a curse. Like, it's really hard to start out here, but once you kind of get a groove, it's really good for like just competitive wise.
Right. I mean, you got to be competitive. I see people who get JFL Fresh Faces, which is like so coveted, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing next? And they're like, this open mic over here.
Yeah.
Like I mean, and stuff pops off a little bit, but they're like, I still got to go to open mics to get stage time sometimes.
Yeah.
So
that was the craziest, because I was like nervous when I got here. I'm like, am I funny? Am I nice? It would even just be, I was still new. So like, even am I decent?
Mm-hmm.
And when you start doing shows with people that have credits, because there's some people in Chicago that have credits, but it might get a couple JFL people, like 5 JFL people in the whole city maybe, and it's like, oh, he got JFL 3 years ago. No. Or they might have one person got a Comedy Central set.
Yeah.
So when I was out here doing sets with people that are like that got money, that are maybe they're a writer on the show, or they had a couple late night sets and they're on TV. I was like, when I was competing with them, I was like, okay, I am good.
Nah, dog, it's funny being at that point where you're like hyped because you got on a show with a certain person that's a credit, and then now being the nigga that's on the show that has the shit. Now I know how people are thinking of me when I come into the green room. They're like, oh sweet, I'm on a show with Niles Abston. Let me do better than this nigga. And I'm like, nah, fuck that nigga.
You just like, all right,
it's just another show. But then I'm just kind of like, nah, I remember I was like that 3 years ago.
Right.
I see a certain person that wrote on the TV show. Oh, I'm gonna try to like bury this nigga. So I'm like, fuck, that's how people are looking at me when I'm on the lineup with them.
Right.
So it just makes me have to go like even harder now.
Right. He's got that D1 athlete and he comes back out again, and you gotta
Exactly.
So obviously you're very established in comedy now. We kind of mentioned it. You dropped out of school.
Mm-hmm.
So the next date I'm gonna throw at you. This is June 19th, 1989. This is the date.
Juneteenth.
Oh, yeah, that also isn't.
See?
Hey, employers, give your employees Juneteenth off. Unless they're white, then make them work harder.
Please.
That's the date your dad graduated. Do we know where he graduated from?
UCLA.
With a bachelor's in history. So he successful lawyer in town.
Mm-hmm.
He's got commercials.
He does.
Nice.
He's a small town celebrity.
Small town celebrity. And your mom has her doctorate.
Yes.
She's published a book.
Mm-hmm.
Check out Mrs. Abston's book, everybody. How to Receive Salvation. You need that, right?
She got a book about Jesus.
Yeah,
nice.
Read that. So you have, the reason I bring up this date is because you dropped out of school, which isn't uncommon for people to do, but it seems like the family you come from, okay, you got a dad who went to law school who's a successful lawyer.
Right.
You got mom who has her doctorate in English, and even on your way to your first day of kindergarten, they're saying you're going to be valedictorian.
Yeah.
And you're 5 years old.
Yeah.
And that's pressure to put on someone. So that must have been, and it's not like, hey, I'm dropping out of school because I'm going to start this tech startup that has opportunity to make a lot of money.
Right.
You're like, I'm going to Hollywood. I mean, from the South. Oh, you're going out to LA with all the heathens. Like that must have been, like, were you scared to tell your parents, hey, I'm dropping out of school? Like, or was it like a quiet quitting? Was it just kind of like, you just kind of went out here and it's like, oh, by the way, I'm in LA now.
Well, the thing was, I played it right. So the program, basically, I knew going into it, I was like, okay, so this is a way for me to go to LA, but still be in school so they won't trip. And then once it's over, I'm just going to tell them, yeah, I'm going to just stay out here. So I already knew I was dropping out going into the program. I just didn't tell anybody because I didn't want that getting out to anyone.
Yeah.
So basically after it was over, I told them and they were very upset. But it was just kind of like, what could they do? I was already out there.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, no, it was rough. Like they didn't talk to me for like weeks. They were they were very upset.
Yeah.
But it took until like you started getting Comedy Central stuff, and then all of a sudden they're like,
what point?
Your dad's posting on the Facebook like, check out my son now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2018 when that came out? 2019? One of those years. But Roy Wood Jr. had a comedy special called, was it called No One Loves You? Yeah, I think it's called No One Loves You. And I wrote this episode of Atlanta because years ago, and I think this should still be a thing. Hollywood's stupid, but there used to be a thing basically where there were these programs where if you wanted to be a TV writer, you could submit. And basically, like Warner Brothers had one, ABC had one, Fox had one. I think NBC might still have theirs, but they've changed it. But the way they used to do them was you would submit an episode of a TV show that already exists to show that you could spec script, so to show that you could write that show. And then some of them would have you submit an original script too, but most was just the spec. So Atlanta had just came out, and I just think Atlanta is probably just one of the coolest TV shows ever.
Especially back then, it just was like
2016, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That invisible car episode,
bro.
No one was doing that.
To be a young black person and watch that show, you're just like,
from the South too,
right? Oh, we can make shit because you'll see black people on TV, but they're always in New York or LA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I saw black people from the South, bro. Like those characters, like. I know these people.
Facts.
Like,
right.
I have a nigga in my hometown or a cousin just like all 100%. Of these people. And so that show was just amazing. And so I wanted to, like, that was my dream, write on that show, which is funny that I ended up writing for the other show, like the other rap show on FX. But it's like, that was a dream, right, for that show. So when season 1 ended, I saw that they were, and HBO used to have one too. And so basically I was like, all right, so I'm going to get ready for these programs. I'm going to write my own episode of Atlanta. So I just rewatched every episode. I had never written like a half-hour comedy script yet. I was writing like longer stuff, like movie stuff. And so I would just watch every day. I would just watch every episode of Atlanta. I would just watch them like 3-4 times. Like I can probably quote every single episode of season 1 now.
Wow.
And so I would just watch them over and over and over again until I got the characters in my head. And so I wrote my own episode for it. And so I submitted to all those programs, didn't get into any of them. And then so I just sat on it. And then that next year, Donald Glover was supposed to develop Deadpool for FX with his brother.
Wow.
And they were going to do an animated series. And then something happened and FX basically said, they put out this statement that he didn't have time to make it and like they weren't seeing eye to eye or something like that. And so after that press release, the next day, Donald Glover doesn't really tweet like that. He deletes all his tweets, but he'll like get on once every now and then. So he gets on Twitter and he tweets page per page a script he wrote that day. Like he wrote a Deadpool animated script that served as a pilot and made fun of the fact that they weren't letting him make the show anymore. It was like the most genius shit.
Almost how Deadpool is, though, right?
It was so funny and so meta.
Right.
It was hilarious. And so he tweeted it page for page, and the last tweet was, I did have time to do this fucking show. Right. And I was like, yo, that's dope. So literally like a week later, so basically what I did was I went back. I was mad I didn't get into any of those programs. So I went back and I went back through my Atlanta script, kind of punched it up, rewrote it a little bit, and then I tweeted it page per page. And it ended up kind of going like a little bit viral on Twitter. People really liked it, and Roy Wood Jr. saw it and DM'd me and was like, yo, this is really funny. Email this to me so I can like have it in one file. And so he told me, he's like, yeah, I got the special I'm about to do, and I want to do sketches for the special to promo it. Would you want to like co-write some sketches with me? And so, we co-wrote 2 sketches. Then he flew me out to New York to like shoot them, and I helped like produce them on set and shit. And that was like my first real thing. And it was on Comedy Central. It did really well on the internet. In fact, one of the sketches did so well, we got to make a web series spinoff of like 2 of the characters, and that was really fun. And so that's like when that happened, my parents were kind of like, okay,
real now that they can see it.
Yeah, it was like it's something tangible. They get it.
It's like hearing your song on the radio, like, okay, my baby, you
right,
rap.
Right. And so it's fun. And it's fun to like always have those little credits. I can always like throw that on the resume.
I feel like Roy Wood is one of the coolest. I've never met the dude. I've only seen him live once, but he seems like the best. He's one person that he deserves anything and everything.
Bro, he's great.
Ever gets. You know
he should be the next.
Right, that's kind of what I'm alluding to. Right, like if he wants it, he deserves it. Because I feel like I'll see him on either the biggest or the biggest platforms like the Daily Show, or I'll see him on small podcasts like this or whatever, where he'll just do favors for homies. Yeah. I'm like, how does this person get Roy Wood Jr. to guest?
He's so kind and so funny. Like I really feel like how like I love John Mulaney. Like where John Mulaney is at, like Roy should be like, up there doing the arenas and doing the big stuff too. Like he's so good and he's so sharp. The 3 specials he did on Comedy Central, like I feel like not enough people saw them because they were on Comedy Central. Yeah. But that was one of the best like 3 special runs I've ever seen. Like it kind of is like it's putting pressure on me of like what I want to do for like my 3rd special, because like I see what he did. Yeah. His like trilogy of specials, and he's just so good. And like every time I meet like a young black comic, like Roy has done something nice for them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, where does this nigga find the time to help all these people, bro? Like, everybody I mean is like, bro, Roy did this for me. He helped my mom. He did it. I'm like, God damn, nigga. He helping everybody.
I mean, that's the crazy part about LA though too, is because everyone is so like trying to claw their way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That like, I've met a few comics that are like have the hey, if I eat, you eat mentality.
Yeah.
And that is crazy that he's even like, I respect anyone who's like in a position to be a gatekeeper and like he just saw you on Twitter and is like, I want to work, like not like, oh, that's funny. I want something like that. Like, no, I'm going to specifically, now elevate I'm going to DM Niles. I'm going to elevate him. It's going to help me out. Everybody wins.
Well, yeah, because the sketches were great. And it gave like, it kind of gave my like a young freshness to the stuff too. Because I feel like a lot of like older comedians will see something and just be like, oh, I'm going to just take that shit and try to recreate it or whatever. And it's just not funny or not that good when you could have just linked with the younger comic and like made something dope.
The Drake effect. Just be Drake.
Drake put so many niggas on, man. That shit's
just
crazy.
Don't like little girls. Other than that part.
Exactly. Don't do that.
Be Drake. Yeah, career Drake, I guess.
Drake was your senior yearbook quote, never forgetting from where I came. And no matter where I'm headed, I promise to stay the same.
Bro,
Narwhal.
High school me was on Drake heavy, bro.
Everybody, I mean, that was peak Drake.
Dog, I remember, I've been a Drake fan since 2008. I was in 8th grade.
Quick question. I need to ask this every episode. Where were you when you realized Drake was the same nigga from Degrassi?
From the very beginning.
Oh, okay. You knew? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
and I didn't really watch Degrassi like that. I just seen a few episodes. But I was like, oh, yeah, that's Jimmy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I guess I was so young, I never thought like, that's weird that he's rapping.
Yeah.
I never thought that.
I like heard the song, this shit slapped. And I like Google. Cause like, back then you didn't have Google like as accessible.
Yeah.
So I remember just like, months after listening to this, like whatever. I'm like, hold on, this nigga the same nigga from Degrassi.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But I've been a Drake fan since like 08. Like I was like blog era rap. Like 100%. I was downloading like mixtapes and like comeback season was fire.
Yes.
And so I like take full responsibility. Like most of my town, like if you grew up around me or you were either a couple years older than me or younger than me, you found out about Drake because of me.
Yeah.
You're that guy with music.
I was telling everybody.
First.
Bruh, I put everybody on Drake. There's a few people that will tell the truth and be like, Niles played Drake for me first.
Yeah.
Like I put everybody on Drake because I was like, yo, you gotta listen to this shit. Comeback season and So Far Gone came out. And then when Thank Me Later dropped, that's when it just like went crazy.
Yeah,
I was like so happy for him because like I literally was listening to this nigga when he was putting shit on like MySpace and like
that was a great time.
08, like just you download the mixtapes off like what Dat Piff or whatever.
Dat Piff, Digital Drip.
Like I remember when like Lil Wayne him and Lil Wayne first started doing stuff in like 2007, 2008. So it was just like when he blew up, I was like, oh damn, that's crazy. But now I don't even listen to that nigga no more. So it's just crazy.
Yeah. We had different childhoods when it came to music.
You listen to fucking Dave Matthews Band.
Oh,
look at this photograph.
No, this that's not even
Nickelback?
That's not even Dave Matthews Band. Show some respect to Nickelback, okay? Can we do a quick segment called "I'm an ignorant white man"? Okay, this is something I'll try not to. I hope this is okay to bring up. I've noticed in the black community the word. I don't like the way you're laughing.
The word
already.
Nigga.
Right. No, that is not what I was going to say. No, back, but spelled B-Y. Like I'll be right back. And it'll be spelled it'll be B-Y-K-E.
Yeah.
Or B-Y-C-K, B-Y-K-E?
I think it's B-Y-K-E.
Yeah. Why, where, first off, is that even a black thing or am I stereotyping?
You're just racist. No.
Damn it.
I guess. I don't use it. I don't really know anybody.
I think it's from
when I see it on the internet.
I think it's some Florida shit from like Ply.
That's
like
what I'm saying. It's like definitely some southern shit.
It's
like
specific a Florida thing.
I think Ply. I think so. It's like Ply. It's like bike. When how he talks at fucking whatever he's from Fort Myers or Tallahassee shit.
I definitely thought it was some southern shit though.
Yeah.
But I mean, me personally, I don't.
Yeah. Thanks for that question, Sam.
All right, what a great segment that was. Ignorant white man checking in. All right, cool. Moving on. You did bring up Roy Wood Jr. and blown up on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And so my next day for you, October 25th, 2021.
That changed my life, bro.
Yeah, you quote tweeted it multiple times, even saying it changed your life. So everyone should go check out this tweet of Niles, but he tweeted a video saying it's Dave Chappelle's talking about trans people a lot.
Yeah.
And you basically say, I feel like there should be a way to make a joke about trans people that's not offensive to anybody at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do a joke that's just a very like funny, well-written, not offensive joke at all. And it goes crazy on Twitter.
It did.
So yeah, I mean, you talk about it being life-changing. One, how'd you even come up with the joke, if you want to even give the audience a brief synopsis of the joke? And then how did it change your life?
We should insert that.
Yeah, you played the joke. But I was on shrooms.
Nice.
And it was just a funny thought that popped in my head.
Yeah.
And when I have funny thoughts on shrooms that pop in my head, I usually text my homie Arthur. And so I just put it in a notes app. And I screenshotted it, texted it to Arthur, and he just texted me back, nigga, you stupid. And I was like, all right, this shit funny. So then I did it.
I can hear that in Arthur. You stupid.
Right, right.
And then you put it on your like private story on IG, right?
Yeah.
And Jay Jordan was the one who gave you the fire, that stamp of approval.
Because I did it, so that was my third time doing the joke. So I did it a couple times. I hear and it hit every time, like really hard. And then I was in Colorado. I opened for Roy in Fort Collins at the Comedy Fort, really dope comedy club. And they just have great like camera equipment and stuff. And so I did the joke on the show. The sound was good. It looked good. And they sent me my set. And I was just like, I feel like I should post this joke. I don't know why. Like I hadn't posted a joke in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I feel like I should post a joke. And so I put it on my like Instagram private story, and Jay Jordan was like, post that shit. And so that was like during the weekend. So that Monday I posted it. And it just went crazy.
Yeah,
it went crazy because it was part of like, it's a funny joke, but then it also was just like, it was a very topical thing.
It was very in the moment.
At the moment. And so it went crazy, and I gained I think I got like 8,000 followers within like a couple days.
Wow.
It was really dope, man. And then it helped a lot because I was doing shows in Portland and Seattle the next month, which is crazy because I'm doing shows in Portland and Seattle next month. And like this really large group of like trans people came to the show in Seattle.
Wow.
They were like so fucking cool.
Wow.
They, like, brought a bunch of friends and stuff.
Off the strength of that?
Yeah, off that joke.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So it changed a lot. Like even just like writing for Dave, like Jeff Schaefer, who's the co-creator of Dave, and he's like Larry David's right-hand man. They write Curb together, just the two. He brings that joke up like all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny that like a lot of people know me from either that joke or the Burger King joke.
It's funny. Yeah, that's a good one too.
The Burger King joke is, I saw you audition at the Dynasty typewriter for JFL.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they didn't pick me.
Which
is crazy.
I honestly walked away. You and Brian Simpson were on that show, and I'm like, those two dudes
I know. I know.
It can only be one.
You know what the funny thing is? The dude that got in trouble with that JFL that worked there, they caught him saying the N-word. So I didn't know what he looked like. But he came up after the show and was like, he like grabbed me and Brian, was like, y'all were amazing.
Yeah.
Great job. You're going to hear from us. And then 2 weeks later, that nigga got fired.
Right.
And I was like, God damn it, bro.
It's always
the nigga that was vouching for me was racist and got plucked.
That's crazy. I wanted to, because I know you had moved to New York for a hot second, and then it was like, oh, I guess Niles is back. So we talked about starting in LA and like what it's like to kind of be not just like past, I guess, essentially in LA. I guess people listen, it's a way different existence when you're not passed all over the town, because for it to be such a big entertainment city, there's only really a handful of legitimate clubs in the city that have shows every night that are good.
For the non-comedy people out there, being passed means you are now like, you made the team, you can send in the dates you're available and they'll book you. You don't have to try out anymore. You don't have to like struggle.
For people that look like me and Danny, you have to be a movie star and you have to be able to have superpowers. And if you're a white guy, you just show up a couple times and they give you a t-shirt.
You should try being a Nepo baby.
Yeah,
right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a Nepo baby. I'm not.
No, facts. So yeah, I mean, there really is Laugh Factory, Laugh Factory, Improv, and what else?
Comedy Store.
Yeah. Comedy Store, yeah. Are the big ones here. But so anyways, you kind of having all this buzz and being a great comedian, I know you were like, fuck it, I'm moving to New York.
Yeah, because I was just like, nothing's happening for me here. I don't get booked at any of the clubs here.
Right.
And I was just like, let me just go to New York and just really just hit the stand-up hard.
Yeah.
I have like connections at some of the clubs there. Like I could probably get up, that kind of thing. And so I was just like, let's do it. So I moved to New York. I moved all my shit there. And 17 days later, I got a call that I was gonna have an interview
Yeah.
for a TV show, and at that point I just didn't care. Like, bro, I had interviewed for 30 to 40 TV shows within 20
Really?
from 2020 to when I got Dave, and it's crazy.
As a writer, or
Yeah, as a staff writer, and so it's crazy. Interviewing for Dave was the first time I ever had an interview where the showrunner that was interviewing me wasn't some old white dude or old white woman.
Wow.
First time, and then I got hired.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of like, is that what it was?
It goes back to you're talking about your internship. Sometimes like people don't understand, I guess, who are making these decisions in Hollywood.
It's ridiculous.
Even if it is like black shows and talking about black stories or LGBTQ stories or whatever, it's not always, or it's rarely, I guess, people that look like that are in charge of making those.
Right.
That's
like, it's funny with Dave. It's like Kevin Hart's company is the production company. So the first person I had an interview with was a black woman who's a TV producer.
Yeah.
So we had a good time just talking on Zoom. And then, like all 3 seasons of Dave, they've had a person of color be the showrunner. It was a black writer, I think, the first 2 seasons, and then South Asian writer this season.
That's dope.
And so it's just like the people very much involved with the show are from all different kinds of walks of life, even though the show is about like a white rapper at the end of the day. But they do a good job of like getting all kinds of different kinds of people, especially like the way they pick the directors of each episode too. Right. Like they get kind of everybody.
Yeah.
And the main cast, it's not just the story of Dave, right? It's like his friends, like the story of Gata, and I forget the
Odd Future dude. What's my man's name?
Travis.
Taco.
Travis, formerly known as Taco.
Yeah, and then what's his girlfriend's best friend, but also his best friend?
Yeah, Emma. She's played by Christine Coe. She's a very good actress.
So it's a lot of different stories.
Yeah, a lot of different stories, and so they have different people involved with it. And honestly, that was the first show I interviewed with where it wasn't white, just all white people running everything.
Right.
And then I get hired. So it was interesting with that. But yeah, I'd only been in New York for like 2 weeks, and my reps were like, "Yo, they want to interview you to write for Dave." Came completely out of the blue. I was not thinking about this shit, and they're like, it's a LA job. So if they ask you if you live in LA, just lie and say you do.
Right.
And I was like, all right.
You're like, I just left.
And so after the first interview with Heartbeat, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get this shit.
Yeah.
God damn it. Because I was just very focused on I want to get better at stand-up, lock in, and just let's do this New York shit. And so it just kind of came out of nowhere. And so I loved writing for the show and everything, but it definitely kind of just like threw off what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
What's the when people find out you work with Lil Dicky, what's like the most like obnoxious like question that you're always
so
getting?
Annoying, bro. I tell them all the time. I'll text them and be like, "You're white fans, Jesus Christ." Cause like touring, everywhere you go, is some drunk white dude. When's he gonna drop the album? Or is this dick really little? And I'm like, dog,
that's my boss.
That's my boss, nigga. Like, leave me alone. Like,
right.
Yeah, it's just cause like I'll say I was a fan of him, but I didn't know his music extensively. Right. I was in high school when he blew up, so I just knew of him. The Chris Brown video was cool. You know what I'm saying? I was a black person that knew about Lil Dicky. Right. It's different. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's just like, but they're like working on it. Like I know him as like Dave. He's just a really cool dude I'm friends with who we write a TV show together. Right. So like, but I meet like his fans who are like really hardcore fans, and they'll just start like quoting rap lyrics, like quoting a song to me, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not him, actually. That's not,
so I just like, I wonder what he goes through with these people.
Right.
Like,
a lot.
I've written 1 season of a television show, and I'm just popular on the internet, and people want to come up and talk to me about him like all the time.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
That's crazy. What do you think? You dropped out of, I know we've taken a lot of your time, but you've been on Comedy Central. You've written with Roy Woods Jr. You're writing for a popular TV show.
Yeah, it's the biggest, as far as ratings wise, the biggest show on FX.
Right. I mean, it's going
shit.
It's going crazy. But you dropped out of college. Parents don't talk to you for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you used to be 20 years old, 22 years old, homeless.
Yeah.
Sleeping in your car, and you would sleep in Beverly Hills because you're like, well, I want to be living in Beverly Hills one day.
Yeah,
so I'm going to sleep in my car in Beverly Hills, kind of speaking into existence. So now that your star's rising, like, what do you think you learned from, not leaving and staying and grinding it out and just looking back, the nostalgia of it all, of those times of that struggle?
I guess, like, I feel like things in life happen where life like asks you like, do you really want to do this shit?
Yeah.
And I've had so many of those at this point that like little stuff that happens like just does not shake me anymore. Because I always say like I feel like I've already had my worst day. Like I used to live in my car, bro. Like as long as I don't have to do that anymore, I'm straight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just for me and for anybody, I think it's just kind of like things in life will make you realize how bad do you really want to do this shit? What will you sacrifice to do it? And also, do you even really want to do this? And usually if you'll like withstand those things, you'll realize you do and you want to. And a lot of times, and part of it was like me learning out here, talent was never a thing that was like separating me from where I wanted to be. It was just more of like the resources and connections and meeting people and being in the right places and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you realize that, it helps you be more patient and just like keep doing what you're doing because you're just like, you can't control that shit.
Yeah.
You can't control who calls. You can't control who's going to be at events when you're there. You can't control whose parent is who. So it's just like, that's just shit. When you realize that's really what it's about, you're like, all right, well, let me just focus on what I do in the craft and keep building this shit. And all that stuff is just going to start making its way to me. And that's kind of what I've done. Like, I don't go out and network and I don't do none of that shit. I just make my stuff and try to make it the dopest. And those people just usually find me eventually.
To take care of itself.
To that point, it's funny because I feel like anytime I talk to, like I was talking to potential reps or I talked to my rep, my manager specifically, or other comedians, it's like, I feel like you're in our kind of class of comedians, you're like the prototypical like, bruh, you gotta just like do it yourself, like Master P type shit, like thug it out type shit.
Yeah, nobody
and
gave me
off of what you were saying, it's like whenever I'm like in my room or thinking about like, fuck, I need to do this or like, why isn't this happening? Or I need to make some money, whatever. It's like, dog, it's another nigga out here that's making his own tour, that's making his own shooting his own special, that's doing his own podcast with his boys, like doing these things himself. Even if he has the clout of having these credits, it's like it doesn't mean once you get this one credit, all of a sudden you're John Boyega, you're off to the races.
Nope.
It happens for like 4 niggas every decade. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you said, there's a bunch of other people that are just as talented in the space. So it's like you kind of have to just make your own ecosystem.
You have to.
Regardless, and I feel like you've been one of the best out of, like I said, out of our kind of class of folks that are like, below that next, at that next step of like really doing it. It's like, bruh, I be looking at it now, I'm like, bro, you like motivate me, dog. Like, I don't know, some weird shit, but it's just like.
That's not weird, nigga.
I know, you can't give, black men can't give another.
Black men can't ever compliment nobody.
No eye contact at all while saying that.
Right, yeah. But no, just like, you're just really good at just, it's like the blueprint. If you listen to this shit, that's what I'm trying to say. If you listen to this or watching this, and you're a comedian or you're someone that is trying to move out here, and or you are here, and you've been doing this shit for 10 years, and it's like, I don't know what's going on. It's like, look at guys like Niles that are creating, because I think at a certain point, I look at you, like Andrew Schultz, the guy who owns this studio, co-owns the studio, helps Schultz, a lot of that shit, Alex. It's like, you got to just make your own shit. And now Andrew, similar to where you'd be. And
he can do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. He's on movies now, and they came calling back to him after he kind of popped and got Netflix little specials and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's just crazy how some people, you get to walk, on a sidewalk and get discovered. Now you're on TV, type shit.
That happens to white people with good bone structure. That doesn't happen to everybody. It happens to white people with good bone structure and like a few racially ambiguous niggas.
Yeah.
And so you have to look at things from the standpoint of like be real with yourself.
Yeah.
Watch a TV show and watch a movie. Do you see somebody who look like you? And if you don't, then you better start writing a motherfucking script, nigga. They not gonna put you in their shit.
Yeah.
It's their shit.
Yeah.
They're gonna put on their friends, their friends' kids.
Yeah.
Somebody they owe a favor to, and somebody they trying to impress.
Yeah.
If you not one of them people, then what the fuck you about to do?
Not a damn thing.
And so it's just like, I tell people like, yo, how'd you get on Dave? How'd you do this? And I was like, well, I was writing all my own scripts. I was doing all that kind of thing, but I had the special on the internet.
Right.
And so they read my scripts and stuff, but the seeing me perform live, that Dave told me, like, that was something that set me apart.
Right.
The fact that I had a whole hour of jokes of me just performing. And the thing was, in 2020, when I put that out, that was like, I didn't really care about having a special. I wanted something out so I could get a TV writing job.
Right.
So it took 2 years because I wasn't super well connected.
Yeah.
But it got me there eventually 2 years later. So it's just like one of those things is, everything you do, you never know who's watching it, and it'll get you an inch closer to whatever you're trying to do. It might take a couple years, it might take something, but when you just keep consistently putting stuff out that's good, the right person will see it eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just got to keep doing that shit. And so, it's just like what we're doing is kind of delusional and crazy at the end of the day. It's like we're in a business where the children of the people that have already done it are prioritized.
Yeah.
And if you want to break through that, you have to be very talented or offer something valuable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's just like, you just gotta be real with yourself and not get frustrated about things you can't control or you can't have. You didn't grow up out here in Beverly Hills and Hollywood, and your dad wasn't on the cover of Men in Black 2. So you can't just walk into Warner Brothers and be like, I want a 3-picture deal.
Right.
Just because you talented, nigga, we have hella talented people.
Right. They look good.
Yeah, that's why there's so much bad TV and bad movies, because that's somebody who is just in the inner circle.
Right. They didn't have to grind for it.
Somebody needs a job.
Exactly.
To build on what Danny's saying, I just would, your impatience in a good way is very inspiring to me, because girls don't twerk to jokes. Your first special you put on YouTube, like you'd even said, I never even done like an hour straight. You had an hour, you had never done an hour before. Yeah. And you're like, I'm not going to wait for anybody to call my name. No. I'm going to kind of make my own destiny. Like you said, you tweet out stuff yourself. You put on your own tours. You're doing secret pop-up shows. Yeah. And so I think it's inspiring. And honestly, I remember Michael Che on the Conan O'Brien podcast was saying something like, so many people are worried about losing the thing they hate. Mm-hmm. And protecting like the day job that's making them money. They're so worried about protecting those things that they never do and try what they're actually wanting to do. And you're someone who, I'm dropping out of college, moving across the country, and I'm just gonna start doing it. And so it's impressive.
You need like a healthy delusion. Like we all have to be. I mean, it's kind of also like being like an athlete. Being a football player is like, for me to go run a slant route across the middle directly towards a linebacker that's 50 pounds heavier than me, I have to have a healthy delusion that I can catch this ball and look at him,
spin off this nigga, make a move, score
2 seconds. Yeah, like it's just kind of like that.
You got to. I mean, it's just one of those things, man. Like at the end of the day, it's like, who's gonna believe in yourself more than you? Like you know what's in your head and you know what you're capable of. So why let another nigga stop you from doing that shit?
Right.
Or just like circumstances or money? Because I always tell people, I was like, well, just start with what you can make happen.
Right.
And so like for me, it was just like, I know a couple people with cameras and iPad, and I have a friend that hosts a cool show. Let's just do it.
So before, I wanted to ask you about that, because you also have a group of people that help you make stuff.
Yeah, like, but that didn't happen till after I started doing shit. Right. They was just like, oh wait, this nigga lit. I need to help with this shit. Right. It's just like
Deuce, all those guys. Like, tell us about that. Like, 'cause that's important. That's like the entourages, the TV shows that we make, and we kind of think that's kind of like fake, but that's really real shit. How it goes.
Nah, my friends definitely make me feel like Vince. It's dope.
Facts.
Yeah, no, it's either dopest friends, and they're so talented and work hard and do shit, but it's just kind of like, it's one of those things, man. It's like the old saying is like, whenever your car is broken down, like nobody helps the nigga just standing beside it. Mm-hmm. But if you start pushing that motherfucker, now 10 people come out and start pushing. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like, when I put my special out on my own, a lot of people were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is good. Like, this is dope. Like, let's help. And so I've had a lot of people I've been blessed with that just kind of came out of nowhere to be like, I want to help with this. I want to do this. And just like, and then when I can, I do pay them, and I try to pay them well. Like there's been plenty of things I've done where I just didn't make any money because I just wanted to pay everybody else. And so it's just like, when you're doing like really cool, dope shit, like people see that and they want to be a part of it, and they want to have fun, and they want to, because that's the thing. It's like, because originality and like people from regular walks of life get pushed out of this industry or whatever, the dopest shit is outside of it. And so when people do see it, they're like, yo, this is filet mignon.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Fresh,
like
different.
This other shit is McDonald's. I don't want that no more. So that's the cool thing of like when you do something cool and original and then people start to see it and they gravitate to it, and you can kind of see on a small sample size like, oh, well, the 200 people that saw this shit love it. So when I get in front of 2 million, it's over with.
It's a wrap.
And so it's just like, are you going to keep pushing until you get to that point?
Yeah.
Is really the case. You know what I'm saying?
Give me more dates. You good?
I'm good on dates.
So every episode we end with, we talk about the past.
Yeah.
We want to give you the opportunity to shoot, I guess, a timestamp, something for the future.
Okay.
So I hate when people ask, like, what's next? It's like, nigga, I just put all this work into what I'm doing now. I don't want to ask what
I'm
next.
always thinking what's next.
But I want to ask, or we want to ask the question of, when we can look back and make a date of Niles is going to do this, or I'm going to do that in the future. What is you calling your shot, or that next moment?
When does this come out?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's relatively soon.
Well, my birthday is next month, February 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I'm going to do the craziest thing I've ever done. Like, it honestly scares me. I did acid like for the first time 2 days ago, and it kind of like took the fear away in a sense of like this thing I want to do. But basically, like, I've put out 2 free specials, right? And they've done really well online and things like that. And off the first one, I was able to put together a tour, and then tour twice, and then I was able to put together the second one. And so basically, what I'm doing is I was watching this video. I was just really frustrated about like how the internet works and algorithms. Like, you know, like algorithms are low key racist.
Facts.
And so it's just kind of like, damn, I can't get booked at clubs. I can't get in TV, movies, and then I can't get my shit off on the internet because it prefers white people. Like, what am I supposed to do? You know? And my friend Skylar Higley showed me this video. And,
Chicago.
Yes.
Funny guy.
Probably my favorite comedian right now. And this dude in the video is basically saying, like, man, fuck internet algorithms. You need to find 1,000 people that really, really fuck with you.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. So on my birthday, I'm going to make an announcement basically that I'm looking for 1,000 people that are like my actual like biggest fans. Like, so my third special, I'm making a special just for those 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And so basically I'm going to ask them, I have like this whole like original merch line that I'm doing just for them, and they'll get access to like all the behind the scenes footage of my tour, and then those 1,000 people will be the only ones that get to watch my next special. And so I'm asking all of them for $130, and so they'll get the hoodie, and then they'll get all the footage, and then when I shoot the special next December, I want to shoot it in New York. And so I'm going to shoot a special in New York next December. And so all those people that basically are going to help me now, they're the only ones that'll get to watch it and get that merch bundle.
Wow.
And then when I do put it out after a while, I'll probably have it, like I'll put it, make the special like $15, $20. You can go watch it, but you won't get that whole bundle of all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing something for specifically like 1,000 people. And so like, just like asking 1,000 people for $130 is like kind of insane to me. Like, it's just like, damn, nigga, you about to do this. Like, it kind of freaks me out, but it's just like my next thing. And like, I continue, like, I just want to keep like topping myself and doing crazy shit. So that is, I'm going to make that announcement on my birthday and see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the response is going to be. It might be like, nigga, are you crazy? I don't want to pay for that bullshit. Like, you don't know.
Nah, man. I think that's that's like,
gotta take big swings.
Getting into like inside baseball. I think that's where like creators are going to, like, you see some of it in Patreon.
Yeah.
But like a lot of, podcasts early on were driven by ads and that kind of thing. And ads can be fickle. It can be economic downturns. Companies can be fraudulent. You know, all kind of CEOs are weird. And all of a sudden your biggest sponsor is a predator, whatever.
Yeah.
All kind of shit that happens all the time.
Why not have the people sponsor you?
Exactly. But then, the directly getting to the people, I think a lot of creators are going towards that even more, like kind of like pay-per-view 85 South type shit.
Right.
Look, y'all fuck with me, y'all can get this shit ASAP, exclusive. It's our little group, our little kind of thing. And so I think I don't think it's crazy at all. I think it's a really good. Yeah, I
feel crazy, nigga.
That's where I'm telling you, bro, a lot of creators, they're gonna have to go to that because
I'm just, dog, I was just sitting at the crib the other day and I was like, nigga, you are too talented and funny to be this broke. We got to figure something out. Yeah. And so I just started watching like Nipsey Hussle stuff, and he did that with his Crenshaw mixtape, and like people paid $100 for it, but then but he had it like where you could go actually listen to it for free, but people still came and bought it off the love. Right. So I'm doing it where like, nah, you not gonna be able to watch this shit unless you give me the money. So I feel it's like a mix of confident and scared because it's going on like a new journey of like because it's like I gave 2 specials to the game for free, you know what I'm saying? And then it's kind of like, why not pay for it? It's gonna be the best one I've done yet.
Yeah.
Because one, I'm gonna have money to be comfortable and really make something dope.
Right.
And then it's just like each special I learn something different. Like there's things that like my second special, I'm like, I should have did that better, or I know this now. And I think my next special I want to shoot it on film. I want to do something different. So
that's hard.
So that's the next thing I'm doing. And I just, I hope people support. And like the way I'm kind of like trying to calm the anxiety is like there's 50 states. If I can get 20 people from each state.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're gonna try it.
We'll do that shit, man. Well, thank you. Got anything?
I'm grateful you're here. Always, I'm inspired by you. You're definitely a big time inspiration, and I hope the star keeps rising.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Anything you want to plug to the people other than what you just?
Shit. I got a podcast with my homies called Y'all Had to Be Here.
Yeah,
check that out. We're touring the country this year. We're hitting Portland, Seattle, Phoenix, San Francisco, Dallas, Chicago this year. Doing a lot of different stuff. New York eventually. So when we're in your town, definitely come out. It's gonna be a good time.
Go stream Household Name on YouTube.
Please do.
That's been Callbacks, episode whatever. I don't know what number this will be. Thank y'all for listening and watching. Peace.
Woo! That was another great episode. I love Niles. I think my biggest takeaway from that, and this is, as you know, if you're watching on YouTube, this little session is at a later date. That he did really inspire me because he was talking about that when he talked about with Dave. Part of the reason he got the job writing for Lil Dicky is Lil Dicky told him, hey, when I looked up you and all the other writers, you had put out your own comedy special. Yeah. You had done all this stuff. And I think, for those that know me as like the substitute teacher or teacher on Instagram, I'm very appreciative of that. And I think that's like a fun thing. But I also was like, started to paint myself into a corner where that's all people knew me as. Yeah. And so I was too afraid to put out any other content. Right. And so like just recently I started putting out, I'm gonna put out some stand-up clips, and like one of them got like 1 million views, and people are like, oh, you do stand-up, and signed up for my mailing list. Right. And so I think it's I think sometimes we put limits on ourselves that don't even exist. It's like, oh, I have to post about teaching because that's all I'm known for. Well, my teaching videos might get millions of views and my one not about teaching might get less, but it doesn't mean I can't post it, right? So like you kind of just gotta no one's gonna be like, hey, I wonder if that teacher guy does other stuff. You gotta announce yourself 100% to the world.
Your biggest advocate has to be yourself. Right. And no one knows what you want to make more than you want to make. And Fumi kind of talked about that in his episode too, just being authentic to what you want to make. And Niles talked about it too. It's probably going to be a consistent theme with whoever we talk to. I'm excited to talk to non-comedians too and see how their thought process goes, a lot of stuff. But when you start we all get into this stuff, it's harder. These jobs are harder than going just working as an account executive or an accountant or whatever. And maybe it's more fun, but just the navigating part of it, there's no rule book to it. So I just feel like at the end of the day, we have to make things, if we're going to opt into this lifestyle, you have to make things that make you happy.
For sure.
Because there's so many no's. We've heard from people that we've interviewed, so many more no's and so many more trials before the highs happen, that you gotta, if you're gonna be going through it and eating ramen noodles and being stressed about rent, at least you're making dope shit that you like to make.
Yeah. If you're not, and that's what I heard a very successful Ben Schwartz, who's like famous actor, improviser. He was like, if your goal is to become famous, then that you might pop out for a second, but it's never gonna last. But if your goal is to do something that you love and achieve and like try to find success in it and try to find a way to become full-time because you love it, that's going to be much more long-lasting. So
and that's for me, last thing I'll say is, like, for me, even with this podcast, I feel like we've tried to do a bunch of production things to make it look sexier and like make it look cooler, because I didn't want to just do another thing just to be doing it. And I think some of that comes from just having a passion and having, I guess, a little bit of taste and wanting things to look right and be authentically like cool and dope and all this kind of shit. And I don't know, sometimes we just kind of go through the motions and stuff, and
you want it to be as best as it could possibly be, so that's why you asked for the best co-host you could possibly have.
No, I didn't. We were
the 17 people said no because it was conflicting. They're like, I don't have the time for it.
Yeah, we were actually brought together by a K-pop manager. We were formed together like a BTS.
Yeah, it's kind of like how One Direction, when they auditioned for whatever Britain's Got Talent or X Factor, they all auditioned individually and none of them got it, but then Simon was like, you know what? On their own, I don't know, but I'm a pair them all. They didn't even know each other.
You know what we should do? We should start a making the band for a podcast. Like P.
That's
Diddy.
crazy.
Get like Charlamagne the God or whatever. Somebody like some big, Joe Rogan. We're gonna bring 25
Some big podcaster.
Right, yeah. 25 podcasters in a house, aspiring podcasters in a house. We're gonna make a mega podcast.
They're all just making a bunch of one-off random episodes. Like, oh, this is an episode about this. Yeah,
got a
that's funny.
challenge on misogyny. Who can be the most misogynistic in 30 minutes?
I love it. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Make sure, if you haven't, hit us up on social media on TikTok and Instagram at Callbacks Pod. It's a fun way we interact with people. It's a fun way for you guys to message us on there and tell us what you want to hear, what you liked. I already had a few people reach out and tell me like specific things they like about the pod.
Yeah.
Ask us questions. Email us at callbackspod@gmail.com. And make sure you follow Danny at Follow Sellers on all social media. I'm Samuel Sleeves. But you already knew that. No, I'm just kidding. Follow me at Samuel Sleeves and get home safe, drive safe, use your blinker as always.
Bang.
I don't know why we do the kisses, but I'm here for it.